Hi everyone, you're watching the Ovaleye live class here at the Ovaleye TV studio, and my name's Jennifer Dono. I'm the Director of Operations here at Ovaleye.com, where we offer web hosting and cloud services to small business owners, and it's a Friday morning here in the Pacific Northwest, and it's gorgeous. So I'm guessing not a whole lot of people are on this live stream, but I want to let you know that whenever we do a live stream, we do record it. Last week we did a live stream and it ended up being horrible. So I definitely didn't put that recording up, but we do record them, and so I'll have this available over at Ovaleye.com. And if you subscribe to our list, which is above if you're watching this live, Ovaleye.tv will be sending out a couple little notices later on today as far as some of the videos that we've done here. Ovaleye.tv is part of Ovaleye.com in that we provide our web hosting members and community at large some videos that hopefully inspire and motivate, educate small business owners across the United States. And just for example, we had City Slips on the Young Female Entrepreneurs live stream on Thursday. They're two young women that founded and created this product that rolls out and helps young women save their feet, basically. And they were a lot of fun to talk to. And then on Tuesday, Small Businesses Do It Better, we had Steve Gadlin of I Want to Draw a Cat for You, and he was on Shark Tank as a contestant, and he actually got Mark Cuban to invest in his company. So it was a pretty cool, actually it was a really cool live stream, and Carissa did a great job in booking that guest. So again, if you're just tuning in, this is the Ovaleye live class. I'm playing with times, but for right now it's happening Fridays at 11 a.m. here at Ovaleye.tv, and I'm on the chat. So if you have questions as we go, I'm more than happy to field those and try and answer to the best of my ability. But I am the Director of Operations here. We do web hosting and cloud services, like I said, and today's live stream is going to be talking about seven actions to take to master your control panel as a small business owner. Now, these are things that we wish that we could tell all of our web hosting members to do. So yeah, again, stick around. It's going to be about 20 minutes. I'm going to go through slides and basically tell you the 7 actions that I want you to be able to learn. And you can go and try and figure them out yourself. I don't want to say try. I know that you can all figure out them yourself very easily. So I'm going to go through the 7, and then I'm going to do some demonstrations at the end. But before we begin, I wanted to talk about, since we're talking about actions, things that you take to improve your small business and grow it, we do provide an action calendar here at Ovaleye.tv, and it's basically every day there's some little thing that you can do to improve your business. And here's the June calendar, and as you can see, they're very small one-sentence pieces. Like today's action, I believe, is to how are you doing on your June goal? So it's taking time to evaluate your goals and where you're at since it's halfway through the month. So little things like that. Check it out at ovaleye.tv/action. I'll put it in the chat in case any of you are on and you want to jump over there. So let's go ahead and get started with our 7 points then right now. And I do have this as a download. I'll include that as a link at the end, and it's ovaleye.tv/downloads/presentation.pdf, I believe. Probably should have shortened that up for you guys, but hey, that's what you get. So the first point that we want to go over, so we're talking about 7 actions to master your control panel as a small business owner. And these are basic steps that a lot of small business owners miss. So if you're in from the web hosting industry and you're thinking, Jen, this is silly, I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to small business owners. So the first point is to change your passwords. And this is a big one for small business owners. You don't think about it. You get the default password when you sign up for web hosting, and you just run with it, right? Maybe you've signed up for Twitter a couple years ago and you haven't really checked your account. You haven't changed your passwords, and maybe even worse, you use something like 12345. Well, I mean, a lot of you noticed that LinkedIn, their passwords got hacked, and this happens quite frequently, unfortunately. And so it's just making sure that your passwords are as secure as possible to make sure that people can't even malicious things like people signing in trying to figure out your passwords, just one person. We're not even talking about bots really here. So PingZine, which is an industry web tech magazine, came out with this great article, and it was giving you some different examples as far as what you should be changing your passwords to. And a lot of the ones that they mention, it could be a difference between an hour for a hacker to change it, or for a bot to figure it out or roam it, whatever, or it could be a century, basically. And it's just by making simple little changes. And that could be adding in numbers. It could be adding in different symbols, changing up things, making things less apparent. So if you're sitting around yourself and you're looking at your pet, they use your pet for an example, and you're using your pet as a password. There are directories. Your pet is registered with the state, so people can find your pet's name if they really want to. So making sure that you, again, the big action here is to just change your password. So the second action that we want to take is add users. Now, I know a lot of small business owners don't do this, and they really should, because I get emails from your designers all the time saying, hey, this person, I can't get into their control panel. Well, how do I know if you're their designer? And I know a lot of web hosting companies have the very same policy. We need to make sure that we're speaking with the account owner, because this is your online property. This is a huge investment for you as a business owner. So adding in users in your control panel will save you a lot of time and energy, because basically what you're doing is you're keeping the main control of your control panel with you, right? By having that control panel user and password, you have access to your domain name information, email, your WordPress login, all sorts of crazy stuff. And why would you hand that over? It's like handing over the keys to your shop to the cleaner, the person that comes in at night to tidy things up. You don't want to do that. You want to keep the master copy, right? So you can just take that key away from the cleaner, change the locks at another time. So adding in users so that you have your webmaster, you can grant different permissions. And again, I'm going to go over this at the end of the 7 points in case you don't know how to do this. And I'm speaking on the Plesk control panel. There's a new one that's coming out that I'll be talking about in another live stream probably next week. It's Plesk 11. That will be, I believe it's launching to the public at the end of June, and so that's really exciting. We'll be talking about some of the features in the next live stream, but we are talking about Parallels Plesk panel, and but if you're not on it, you just should be. So I won't even go further from that. So you can change permissions and users and give them different abilities, like accessing your WordPress and creating email addresses. So if you have employees, giving them the ability to manage their own email address, sending out auto replies, all that fun stuff is a great idea. So the third action is creating email aliases and autoresponders. And a lot of small business owners don't even get to the point of creating their own email address. So creating additional email addresses is almost unheard of in the small business community, which is unfortunate because you're paying your web host to use their server, to use that space and have that professional image. Why not create more email addresses? And so we're going to be talking about aliases and autoresponders. And aliases is basically, for example, my name is Jennifer Dono. Dono, do you know how to spell that? I mean, there's a lot of different variations people come up with, and I've added a few different email aliases over the last couple weeks, and it's pretty funny because I'll get emails and I'll look in the to field, and it'll say like JEN.DONO and different fun things like that. But I get those emails that people are trying to send to me because I've created email aliases that account for misspellings of my name and different things like that. And I know Carissa on the last show was talking about how you can create email aliases that you want being sent to you that are things like the boss or CEO ad or whatever it is that you want to have coming into your personal inbox without creating that inbox. So you can't send out as an email alias. You can only receive email into your inbox, and that's an important piece of it. So autoresponders is another piece which we were talking about. Autoresponders, oops, I keep going to the wrong slide. Autoresponders is that last tab right here. It's called Auto Reply in the Plesk panel. And you're able to switch it on and switch it off as you go on vacation. But the fun thing here is that you could have an orders at yourdomainname.com and have that on at all times. So if someone makes an order and it's assigned to PayPal, they get an auto reply that says, hey, thanks so much for making this order with me, and here you can find me on Facebook and Twitter, introduce yourself. And so you're making it a little bit more personalized while still keeping it automated as a small business owner. So that's something that I think is really underutilized. Yes, you all create autoresponders when you go on vacation, but a lot of small business owners don't go that extra mile to create an auto reply if someone signs up for something or purchases something or has a question. Even if you use that contact us box, especially in WordPress, you could be creating auto replies that are really nice, customized, versus using that contact form that a lot of you are using the plugin. So our fourth action that we want to take is adding subdomains. and aliases. So the same line goes for what we were talking about with emails. So these are additional domain names, basically. So if you've registered something like Ovaleye.com, well, if we want to add in a totally different website, maybe something like shop.ovaleye.com, that essentially becomes a second domain name in which we could build a website off of. So adding the subdomains is great, especially if you've got different promotions that you're only running for a specific amount of time. So if you're doing like a promotion such as an ebook that you're launching, creating that subdomain might help you in your extra marketing efforts. And we'll be talking a little bit about that website that you can launch DIY very quickly for campaigns like that. And the second piece is in domain aliases. So with Ovaleye.com, there's a lot of different misspellings for our domain name, for example. So if you type in Ovaleye.net or something like that, it'll go over to Ovaleye.com. That goes for a lot of different variations as far as maybe what your company's name is called. So if people look up Ovaleye Cloud Services, it'll go to Ovaleye.com. You can also have if you have a few domains that you've purchased and you're waiting to use, such as, okay, so I have a personal blog called thecloudmaven.com, but I also have my name, jenniferdano.com, and I've used that as an alias to point over to my Cloud Maven blog. And so playing with that a little bit, you're just stretching the usage of your control panel by just that much and really getting the most bang for your buck out of the whole experience of hosting with a company. So the fifth action point, we just talked about 1 through 4, and we're going up to 7 if you're just joining the live stream right now. 7 actions to take on your control panel. So, and I apologize if I'm going quickly, we'll definitely have that recording out for you guys. I know I talk fast and no one's in the studio with me to correct me. So here we go. Number 5. So number 5 is create landing pages with Web Presence Builder. And oh my goodness, that slide is totally spelled wrong. So it's Web Presence Builder. And Web Presence Builder is a free DIY website that launches very easily, and it comes with content already in there, which is really nice. So it gives you a place to start off with, but it's highly customizable. So you're able to drag and drop things, edit things with all of what you see is what you get editor. So you can see all of it live and you don't have to go into that scary code area. But if you do want to change things up a little bit more than the what you see, what you get editor gives you, you can go into the code fairly easily, which is not the case with all DIY website builders. So Web Presence Builder, utilize that for landing pages like we were talking about with promotions. So if you do a subdomain, adding in that as a simple, easy website. If you want to do email sign-up boxes, really nice. We have that with Ovaleye.info if you were to go to that. That's also mirrored onto Facebook via the Web Presence Builder, which, hello, where else can you get that? It's really easy. You don't have to pay a designer, a couple $100s to do it. You can do it all yourself and have a professional looking tab on your Facebook page that allows people to opt in. So our 6th action, again, I apologize if I'm going too fast for you guys, but our 6th one is to access WordPress from your control panel. And this is a little counterintuitive for a lot of you. You just want to go to your domain and go straight from there. But the plus panel makes it really easy that you can just click a button and it'll pop open to your dashboard and you can get things going. There's even links for uploading a theme and going straight to your admin. It's seeing it live. It's just easier. You should have your control panel as your hub, your place to go to, that you open it up whenever you want to do anything to change your online presence. And I know that Plesk is constantly working to make sure that more of your online world is brought into their control panel, so it is the hub that you rely on. A lot of you haven't even opened it up, I think, yourselves. I think you just send it on to your designer and let them deal with it. But you are missing, like I said, you're missing the value of what you're purchasing or what you've purchased with your web hosting company. So that's an easy action item to take. And the 7th one is to check out other apps. Now, with us, with Ovaleye, we do provide you this, the App Store, the store market, or the marketplace, I believe is what Plesk is calling it now. Here you can see that WordPress is available. It's an easy one-click solution. There's Joomla, Sugar CRM, Keep It Online Backup, and Pinnacle Cart. And these are just ones that we've made as featured apps. But there's many more additional apps that are open source. They're free to use for you, and so why not install them into your web hosting account. Now, Sugar CRM is one that I talked about at the last live stream. And it's basically a CRM like those ones that you spend $300 a month on per user. And it's free. It's a community edition. It's not gorgeous. It's pretty, you know, broken down. I mean, I shouldn't say broken down. It's pretty basics, I guess, minimalist design, but it does the job. You can see a sales funnel, and we'll have to do another live stream on that at some point, but utilizing those other apps, and if you haven't logged into your control panel, you're not using them. So that was our 7 actions. I'm going to go ahead and take just one little break really fast so I can go ahead and open up the live stream desktop sharing so we can go in and we can do a live demonstration for you guys. Okay, here we go. So if you're just joining the live stream right now, I just want to remind you that I am on the chat. So if you have questions, go ahead and type them on over. All right. So we're going to just go through the actions quickly, and I'm going to show you where it is that you can go basically to find the different things that we just talked about. All right. So our first point of action was to change your passwords, right? So let's go ahead and open this up. So here you can see my control panel. This is just the demo one that we've been talking about, ovaleye.info, that we've mirrored the web presence builder onto our Facebook page. So if you go over to account, you can view some information about your account. And that includes the hosting options that you have set, different permissions. You can also back up your account and websites, backup websites. But we're going to go ahead and go to my profile for this piece. And you can also do this from the top. So edit profile right there. Here you can see that you can change your panel preferences to where you change your username and password. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that right now, but know that you can change your password like that. So our second point that we were talking about was to add users. And again, I think this is something that a lot of small business owners miss, and you're going to be saving yourself a lot of heartache by doing this. Not to say that every relationship goes sour with employees or designers, but it's good to be aware of it. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to users up here in the control panel. I'll try and move my mouse a little bit slower for you guys. Here you can see that I've already added in my username here, Jennifer Dono. You can see that Kathy is the owner, and then I'm the webmaster. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Jennifer Dono just to show you what the differences is between an owner and a webmaster. Here you can see that my permissions, I've already given myself an outside email address, and that is so that if I forget the username and password for the control panel, that password will be sent to that email address. Then the manage users and roles, you can see that it's been denied for manage users and roles, and the rest of them have been granted. You've also been denied the WordPress instance access by just going to your control panel and being able to click over it. So if you have a designer that you want to be able to access this, to access your WordPress, you would just go in and go to user roles, click on webmaster, and then go ahead and pop over it to be granted versus denied. I'm not going to do that now, but that was just a quick demo on how to utilize users a little bit more effectively within your small business. And hopefully none of you are afraid of logging into your control panel. I know that can be an issue at times. So I'm not even going to go over how to log in because we are talking about kind of basic stuff here, but not that basic. So number 3 is create email aliases and autoresponders. So let's go ahead and open up the desktop, and we'll go over to mail. And here you can see that I've added in contact@ovaleye.info. I'll go ahead and click on that guy just to show you what that looks like. I've set up the mailbox. You can also, as the owner of your hosting control panel, specify a new size. So if you want to limit people to the size in which they can keep their email or their inbox, how many emails that they can store in there, etc., you can go ahead and do that as the owner of the control panel. You can also change the password for accessing that inbox. You can also uncheck the mailbox. If you'd rather that this mail never go into an inbox and be stored somewhere and just forwarded onto it, you're definitely welcome to do that. And there's a lot of other things that we can talk about with this, but we're specifically talking about email aliases and auto replies. So here's where you would add those email aliases on this tab right here. For auto reply, it's right next to it. Here you just switch on the auto reply, and again, this is just for contact. So if I wanted to set up my own personal email address on that and set an auto reply, I could do that too, and they'd be totally different. You can change the subject to be something totally unique, or you could just reply to an email subject that was sent over to that. And then a neat thing here is that you see that you can check for HTML, so you can make it fancy. If you don't know how to fancify your email addresses, you can get a designer to help you out with that. You can also forward the email on to someone else. So if you're on vacation and you want maybe your virtual assistant to get the emails that are coming in, you can go ahead and do that. And then the last piece is attaching a file. So again, this goes into if you want to send if someone contacts you and you want the auto reply to be maybe a PDF of the best ways to work with you, or some kind of presentation that you've done, you can go ahead and do that. So that was just a quick explanation of email aliases and auto replies, and hopefully you guys will be able to utilize that from now on. We're going to go ahead and move on to our fourth action, which is add subdomains and aliases. So for this, I'm going to go up to websites and domains. I should show you guys this. Okay, websites and domains. And then scroll down, you can see the domains that have already been set up. So here we've already set up one subdomain. If I click on add a new subdomain, you can see what that looks like. Very simple, so you can set it to be blog or whatever it is that you want to do, and then you can edit the site, the root. Just make sure that you make the appropriate changes within your DNS, so where your domain is registered, to make sure that that is a separate area that's going to point to the server, so it's not just going out to, to space. So the other one was domain aliases. So just go ahead and click domain aliases, and here you can see the two domains that are added into your control panel. We'll go ahead and pick ovaleye.info, and you can create a domain alias for this. And by default, it is checked to synchronize DNS zone and the primary domain. Mail service is checked on, and web service with Java web applications checked off. And that's just by default, and it usually works best for most small business cases. So that was a quick overview of how to utilize that fourth point, adding subdomains and aliases, and we're going to move on to point number 5 and create landing pages with Web Presence Builder. Popping back over to the home page, like I was saying, Web Presence Builder, this is a great way if you guys have a custom website that's already designed for you that you've spent a lot of money on, and you just have a second promotion that you want to add into. Web Presence Builder is a very effective, inexpensive way to go. So click Launch Web Presence Builder, and it's going to show your different domains in here. If you have more than one, you can go ahead and edit in that way. Edit in Web Presence Builder. So this is a great way. So for example, we've used Virtual Road Trip. We have a separate domain for that, and so we're able to create a Web Presence Builder site under that separate domain. Here, as you can see, we're at ovaleye.com. This is ovaleye.info, and you can see that we've created a totally separate, very inexpensive website easily. And this is just, like I was saying, drag and drop kind of stuff. Publishing it is easy. There's also some great metadata in here that you're able to edit up right up in the front. Each page actually also has its own metadata that you can edit too. So it's optimized pretty well for the search engines. But I'm going to go ahead and close that up, and we're going to move on to our next point, which is accessing WordPress from your control panel. And so again, we were talking about those different permissions that we could give people. So if you want your designer to just log into your control panel and pop over to WordPress, you can go ahead and do that. But again, it would be the administrative point in WordPress. So whole other subject, you might want to create an additional user for your designer under WordPress if you'd like to, so you could just take him or her off of it at a later point. But here I'm on the home page of my control panel. So if you want to use this as your hub, your go-to place to be, you can go ahead and click on Administrative Interface, and it'll pop you over to the WordPress install. And I actually don't know if I've set this up. Yeah, so I still have to upgrade here. Again, you guys, if you upgrade to WordPress 3.4, make sure that you do perform a backup before you do that. So as you can see, it was just a really easy way to access WordPress, all from my one point of access. There's also the link for uploading themes and uploading plugins. So it's just simplifying small business world. I want to just remind you, I'm almost done, but I still am on the chat. So if you have questions for me, just go ahead and shout them out, and I'll try and answer to my best ability. But we are moving on to, I believe it's our last point, number 7, checking out other apps. And if we just go to our new, we go to the home page again. Let me pop back over to the desktop. If we go to the home page again, going under applications here on the tab at the top, clicking on that, you're going to get a list of featured applications, and here we've limited it just because small business owners, bright shiny objects, just making sure that these are the ones that most of our small business owners are interested in, so we limit it, the featured, but this might look different on different hosting providers' websites. So here you can easily install WordPress like we were talking about. Joomla, you can easily install that as well, but here you can see there's a difference. These two are commercial applications. So Pinnacle Cart, you have the ability to purchase within your control panel, same as Keep It Online Backup, and that's really for your desktop files and documents that you can back it up through Keep It. Here you can click on all available applications and see a list of categories for which you're able to find applications to better run your small business. So it's loading. It'll take just a second. You can manage installed applications as well. So here you can see that we've accessed or we've installed the WordPress installation. We were talking about the collaboration piece as far as the Sugar CRM goes, and I believe that might be under Office, but you can kind of look through the categories and see what's available. So those were 7 action points that you can take in your small business owner, in your small business, as a small business owner, to better utilize your control panel. We talked about things that a lot of small business owners aren't doing. A lot of you're hosting your WordPress blog. You might have one email address up, and so hopefully you'll take the time over the next week or so to really expand your knowledge and control in your control panel and actually take those actions to grow your small business in just small ways. Check out ovaleye.tv/action for our action calendar to grow your business in small, fun ways that aren't necessarily tech related, but do include some tech pieces in there. And of course, ovaleye.tv has a lot of small business videos where you can go and find out some answers to your questions, get some knowledge or some wisdom from other small business owners, and of course sign up for our emails if you're still watching live. Otherwise, ovaleye.com for all of your web hosting, domain names, and cloud services needs. This has been Jennifer Donna, the Director of Operations here at Ovaleye. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. I really appreciate it. Check us back out here on Friday, next Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 Eastern, and it'll be 30 minutes, and we'll be talking about the new Plesk 11. Thanks so much.